Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Cassell, and let me walk you through the test correction format. So this form, you'll see linked below that it's got the instructions. You can complete your test corrections on your own paper with this format and heading. You can print out this form if you'd prefer, or you can, like many of you will do this digitally and then turn this in Canvas. If you do it on paper and you turn it in digitally, you'll need to obviously take photographs of it. If you're coming to school in person, you can hand me your paper test corrections. It's entirely up to you. Attach your test corrections to your original test and submit within 1 week of the original test date unless otherwise specified. I set the deadline for this for next Friday. That gives me time to grade it and repair those grades before the last little mini week of school. But you'll see I crossed this out. You do not need to attach your original test. I always rewrite my test, so that's okay for you to have the original test. And then I know what your score is. If you do a good job on these test corrections, you're honestly doing as much work as it takes to learn this content in the first place and earn the score for a good answer. So a thorough job at this really is a hard job. I'll be able to grade what you write on here and see your full physics understanding without needing to go back and look at your original test if you've done a good job. Thorough, accurate, and complete test corrections will earn half of the missed points back for each question corrected. So a brief note on how these tests are scored. You can do this for the multiple choice or the free response questions or both. I curved both exams. The multiple choice, there were 15 questions plus one honesty question, honesty clause. The multiple choice I curved to be out of 10. I can't adjust that in Canvas. It stays out of 16 in Canvas. But in Skyward, you'll see the maximum score is out of 10. So the free response question, most students ran out of time. A few of you were amazing and got all 3 questions done, but the majority of you needed more time, whether that was time management or, whatever the reason might be. So I decided it was acceptable to essentially score 2 out of 3 questions. So the free response is curved to be out of 25 points. Anyway, so as you do these test corrections, you can work on questions that you ran out of time for. If there are questions you did not complete, you are welcome to attempt those for the first time, basically. So you absolutely can earn points for those questions that were blank on your exam before. So for those of you who are really hoping to raise your grade a lot, that does mean that you could earn back those points and do incredibly well. So here's what I need you to do for each question that you want to correct, whether it's a short multiple choice question or probably a free response question. You should break this into parts because many of them are really like multiple questions chained together to make one big mega problem, right? So the question or part of question, yes, please write or type it out word for word. And please number or label it according to the exam if you can. It really helps me follow up on your grade and or scoring this that you're entering here. Word for word. My advice is write it rather than copy and paste or take a screenshot, right? The idea is really dissect what does the question ask. Some students get started on just this part and then they go, oh, I see what I missed. I just read the question wrong. We've all done that. Second thing to do is identify your point of confusion. So why were you incorrect? What mistake did you make? Running out of time isn't really a good mistake, although some of you that will be a reason. But can you figure out what your mistake was? If you're going to say just guessed, well, why? What didn't you know? What part didn't you understand that left you in the land of I'd better just guess? So what errors did you make in calculations, in reading and understanding? What did you not know that prevented you from answering this question correctly? Or if it's the first time you're attempting this question, if it was an incomplete question before, what is it that you can tell would give you some struggle? What's the thing that's difficult or confusing to begin with? This box should not be blank or have 3 words or less for any of the points you want to earn. You have to think about why did you get it wrong? or what it would prevent you from getting it correct. What is the limitation there other than just ran out of time? Just guessed. Okay. No 3-word answer is going to earn you half your points back. Next thing you should do is figure out the correct answer. Now, in some cases, this will be that you've got a friend who got 100% on the test. You might be able to look it up, and if it's a released item from the previous AP exam, you'll find solution guides for it online with students working it out. Some of them you're going to need to come in and ask for help, but figure out the correct answer. If it's a multiple choice question, yes, write out what that answer is word for word. If it is a free response question, you'd better be writing complete sentences for the whole answer. I don't want you to just fix a sentence that had an error in it. Write me a whole new answer. So if you're reading an answer you wrote in there and there was a part that I said, actually, this part's incorrect, but this part is correct, I want you to fix your whole answer. I want to see that whole thing written in here. I won't understand what it is if you just fix a half a sentence for me. Write the whole thing. If it's a math problem, show your work. The number answer is meaningless, okay? This is where you can show the process. How do you get to the correct answer? If it's your first time attempting that problem, work it all out, show all your steps. Just the number is insufficient. The fourth thing you should do, justify the correct answer. So why is that answer correct? What are the science or maths? Oh, I wrote it like we're British. The maths rules. The science or math rules or reasoning that explains why this is correct. Here's where you really affirm you've got the correct answer. These two boxes together really are what show me you've learned something new. That you didn't just look up the answer, a friend didn't just explain it to you, you didn't just get her done, you had to work on what you didn't understand before and figure out what do you understand now, all right? So these two boxes really are the most important for me. This one's repeating what's on the test. This one in some cases is going to be just figuring out which multiple choice is right or rewriting a paragraph or showing some math. But here's where you show me why you deserve some credit back for the mistakes you made the first time. And then the last thing is, I want you to cite your sources. I put this as a numbered table, so as you add more, it doesn't mean delete it. So if you get help from a person, put their name in there. If you end up with a website, put a website in there. Whatever it might be, I want you to make sure that you cite in your sources there. This is mostly so, and where did you learn the correct answer? How did you learn it? Some of you are going to go, oh, I looked back at my notes. You know, I found that I had it written down. Or it'll be that you worked with a friend, right? There might be some very organic ways that you found this information beyond like a bibliography kind of citation. I want to know where you figured it out. How did you learn it? If you think about it, that's what you should have done the first time. That was the piece of your studying or your preparation that was missing. That's a moment for you to go, wow, if the way I learned all this was talking to my teacher, I should be asking for help more in my classes where I'm struggling. If where you got all these answers is from friends in the class, then you should be forming a study group and working with your peers. That is how you learn. So this is a great way to give you the opportunity to reflect on how you learn and review best, because you're going to need to use those skills again in the future. So for each question that you would like to earn points back on, complete this entire table, this entire thing. You'll see that I added a couple additional pages. You can copy and paste this table or extend it, whatever you so choose, so that you can do this multiple times. But for a single question, including a multiple choice question, this is the process I want you to go through. Some of them will be briefer than others, depending on how challenging the question is. That's just the way that goes. In terms of how to get that correct answer and what kind of sources are permitted, please ask for help. I'd be happy to work with you on any of these problems. Work together. You've got people in the class who got the right answers. Ask them to teach you. Some of them are questions that you're going to look up online. Yeah, good. Go learn it. That stuff's there for a reason. Okay? So use your resources And if you choose to collaborate together, like if you sit down with a team to work on these, or let's say a lot of you didn't do the last problem and you go, hey, let's just get this done together. Great. This had better be your own unique work though. What you write on here needs to be your own thinking. So don't just have somebody else tell you what your point of confusion is, or say, you know what everybody got wrong in this problem was the graph. You need to do your own thinking on here. But support each other, yeah, work together on your own. If you're not sure where that line is between collaborating and copying, I want you to imagine me quizzing you on what you wrote in these two boxes when you turn this in. If you collaborate with a team, then you can explain your own errors in your own words when I ask you about it. And you can explain how you know the correct answer is correct now and what the difference between those two moments in time are. If you've just copied and you didn't learn anything new, if I quiz you on it, this is where you go, I just got it wrong, just because. And why is that the correct answer? Because Newton's laws. This is something that, unless you've actually worked on this, you wouldn't be able to defend. So that's the way to help you know, am I collaborating with my friends or am I copying? If you can't defend this on your own in a different way, like if a teacher asks you, then you're not really doing your own work. Okay, so that's how this works. So I'll leave this up in Canvas. I don't think there's I put the deadline as like the end of the school year probably for the close date on this, but really next Friday the 18th is when I'm hoping to have all of these in by, so that way I can get them graded and I can bring up those grades before that last 4 days, so we know for sure who's going to make it and who needs to try one more time. Okay. So thanks, you guys. I'm really proud of all the hard work you've done. This is not a year that has been easy for anybody, and you're the stronger for it. You were strong before, but you're stronger now, and that means that individually and together we can do great things. So thanks for all your hard work. Good luck.